We knew this one was going to be a big one. Chandler Stephenson with the Seattle Kraken. Before we get to it fully, we just want to say that free agency on SDPN is brought to you by 888 Canada, where Steve and Jesse are stars of their YouTube page, along with Ashley Docking. Woo. And you could be the star of the casino with the live roulette that Jesse loves so much.
Good job, Adam. Hey, Adam, you have me cracking up.
Ha-ha!
And so will the content on 888's YouTube channel.
Chandler Stephenson, 7 years. $43.75 million. This player will make $6.25 million. The expectation was that he was going to get a 6-year deal. It looks like a lot of free agents are getting that 7th deal or that 7th year, though, because teams want to bring the AAV down. And this is the cost of a second-line center in today's NHL.
This is what I was trying to say. You know, not to make it about the Leafs, but like when people were saying, oh, Tavares comes off the books next year, there's $11 million gone. Okay. You still need to then replace your second line center, and a good one costs at least $6 million.
Yes.
At least $6 million.
Stevenson, by the way, in Vegas before Eichel got there, 81 games, 65 points. Last year with Eichel there, 75 games, 51 points. He's more of a disher than he is a goal scorer, but a very valuable piece to a Seattle team that needs more offense.
This is what they're missing, right? This is exactly the kind of player they've needed since the inception of the franchise. Like, you can't keep running out Matty Beniers forever as like your solid 1C, and Jared McCann's there, obviously, but they needed another piece, and that's Chandler Stephenson.
Off the top of my head, I'm trying to think if the Seattle Kraken have ever had a player with more career playoff games. Can you guys tell me how many career playoff games Chandler Stephenson has played? He was drafted in 2012. He's only 30 years old.
If DeBrusk has 100-ish,
then on Boston.
Well, Vegas has been in the playoffs every year.
And Vegas has been in the playoffs almost every year.
Almost every year.
I don't know where Stevenson was before Vegas. I can't.
Washington.
Oh, so he's in the playoffs. 115.
He was a part of that Washington team that went to the Stanley Cup final and won 7 points in 24 games. He was just a youngin'. That was actually his first taste of the playoffs. He
has 2 cups?
He has 2 cups. He's played 95 career Stanley Cup playoff games, 15 goals, 24 assists, 39 points in those games. His most recent playoff run with Vegas was poor. He only had 1 assist in 7 games. That's obviously bad. The cup run, 10 goals, 10 assists, 20 points in 22 games. He was bloody fantastic.
You just taught me that Stevenson has 2 cups.
Yeah.
Dude, I just taught me that Stevenson has 2 cups. I didn't know that. Wow.
Here's the thing, though. For Seattle, what's going to be interesting with a new coaching staff going in there, because notably Dave Haxtell is gone because a bunch of players in the exit meeting said, we're not coming back if he is, which I thought was crazy. That's an under-talked about story.
Yep.
But I want to know who's shifting to the wing. Because currently, the Seattle centers are as follows. Beniers, McCann, Yanni Gourde, Shane Wright. And I assume that it's going to be Shane Wright who might move to the wing, but they move him up to, say, a third or a second line sort of role where he can get more looks.
I think that's about right. Yep, that's about
Yanni Gourde seems like a really good, aggressively good fourth liner at this point.
And you can always shift. You can always, like, there's a bunch of wingers in this league who, like, take a ton of face-offs. Like on purpose, or when guys get kicked out, or guys are more aggressive because they know they have someone who could take faceoffs on their wing. I wouldn't get too caught up in that. What I would focus on is Seattle spending a ton on D and not very much up front at all. Stevenson is a relatively high-end player that they don't have in abundance. So I really think it's a good match for them.
Now, where do you think because again, this is a team that did struggle to score goals.
Yep.
Okay. Stevenson's a disher.
Yep.
And obviously a good playmaker is going to allow you to score more goals. Where are the goals coming from, though?
Jared McCann is going to score a ton. They're obviously hoping Matty Beniers takes another step. They're hoping Shane Wright takes another step. You're going to have to rely on some of your youth here because I don't think it's reasonable to be like, oh yeah, Andre Burakovsky is going to score like 20 more goals this year, something like that. It's going to have to come from within, and it's going to have to come from your youth.
It's a very interesting point. Like, I didn't even think about it that way. I'm like, okay, Chandler Stephenson's a great addition. He's a top end forward. That's what they need, but he's not a goal scorer,
right?
You know, and what they need out of the high end scorers in their forward group is goal scoring, and that's not what they acquired here. So it's a little like, okay, Are we sure this is the direction you wanted to go with the paying for the forward?
It's a chicken and egg thing.
Yes.
Because Jonathan Huberdeau.
Great point.
Jonathan Huberdeau, one of the best dishing wingers in the NHL. He goes to Calgary, and Calgary doesn't have any finishers. And it's like, yes. But this guy is going to turn these players into finishers. And then he really super didn't do
Because
that.
goal scoring is a skill.
It's a skill.
Mhm.
So I can pass you the puck. I can put you in a position to succeed. But if you can't put it in, then what
Nobody's
the
getting a
hell's-
point. Yeah.
Exactly. What the hell's the point? Stevenson is going to have to, like, they're going to have to take lessons from that. Guys are going to have to, if he gives them the puck in a good position, guys are going to have to eventually put it in.
And just so people know what I'm talking about, the Seattle Kraken can't score goals. Last season, they finished 29th in goals for per game, and in goals against per game, they were ninth. Goals against per game, they were ninth. So if they could just get some goal scoring, they would be way up in the standings, and maybe we're challenging for a playoff spot.
Not a single 30 goal scorer on the Seattle Kraken last year.
Wow.
Only 2 guys reached 20.
Wow.
Now they had a bunch of guys breach 10. Vince Dunn from the back end.
But
had
that's not how
11.
you win.
No. Yanni Gord, Ty Carty, Carty. I know this player. I forget how to say his name. Jaden Schwartz had 13. Matty Beniers only had 15. Ellie Tolvanen was huge for them. He still only had 16. Jordan Eberle had 17. Bjorkstrand played 82 games and was an all-star for them.
Mhm.
Had 20 goals, and Jared McCann leading the pack with 29 goals. It's crazy because so many of these guys have assists, and I'm wondering where the hell it came from.
I have a solution.
No one scored goals. How did you get assists?
We've obviously mentioned that Brandon Montour is in a separate video. Brandon Montour is here. By the way, the Seattle Kraken today alone have spent $93.75 million
Wow.
In total.
in total contracts
Yeah.
so far. They have
No, they're above the cap now.
they have $10 million to spend still,
yeah.
and
Do they have 10.9?
They don't have 10.9.
No.
But I'm wondering, does one of the defensemen that they have, Alexiak, Larson, even a guy like Dumoulin, even Will Borgen. So Larson, Dumoulin, Borgen are all expiring deals. 2 of those 3, Larson and Borgen, are right shot D.
Mhm.
Those are valuable pieces elsewhere.
Mhm.
And I wonder
And
if they
Montour.
take a look at a guy like, this is going to sound crazy, Patrick Laine.
Oh,
You
very
plug
interesting.
him into a lineup like this, I feel like you're bound, injuries aside, bound to get 30 goals.
I don't hate the thought process there.
And they might have something to offer too, which is why I brought up the defense.
Yeah, I don't hate the thought process there. I just I think Larson, like they're a team based in like analytics and logic, and logically Larson 1 year left. He's going to want more money. It's not there, or you can't really justify it. Their cheapest defenseman makes almost $3 million. I just wouldn't I would trade out Larson to help with this problem. I wouldn't do Larson for Laine, but maybe there's something there.
Maybe Larson Laine retained. I don't know. I think if Laine is coming, he's going to be retained. No one's going to. I don't think anyone's buying that contract.
I don't hate the thought process out
So
of it.
it's going to be interesting. I don't think Seattle's done. This might not be the last video we do with Seattle today, but remember, SDPN.
Adam,
Yes.
let me throw out somebody you keep throwing out because of that $10 million.
Give it to
Goal scorer, Jeff Skinner.
Great idea.
Oh,
Just
I
fly
think
out.
It's a
He'd be
decent
perfect.
idea, right?
He'd be perfect.
Okay.
He'd be perfect.
Want to get that out there just
No.
in case it happens.
I like that a lot, Jesse. And by the way, like I said, I don't think this is the last video we're doing on
No.
the Seattle Kraken today. Remember, SDPN trade coverage is brought to you by 888 Canada.